Hey, welcome to this episode where we're going to discuss why the world needs you exactly who you are, exactly as you are. So, if you're not sure what that means, we're going to talk about it. But if you're also not sure, like how to connect even to that, we're going to explore that as well. So, from the analogy or the perspective that we're all here contributing something, we all come in with our own unique blueprint. We all come in with our own unique gifts, talents, abilities, quirks, idiosyncrasies, all of it. And why we do that is for various reasons. So, one, we absolutely have something very incredible and very unique to offer. And we're going to discuss a little bit about what that means coming from an ego perspective, which is very different than coming from the soul essence perspective. The soul essence perspective is very much about it's coming in to learn, grow, or heal. So it's, anything that it's experiencing has incredible purpose and value. And we don't live in a vacuum, which means that we come in with a very sophisticated choreography in mind, meaning we have a lot of potentialities that we've set up because we have free will. Nothing is set in stone, but we have a lot of potentialities set up, including different impact that we will make or be impacted by different relationships, experiences, and that includes, obviously a lot of other people and a lot of other potential beings that contribute to that. So the soul essence, first and foremost, is really about learning, growing, and healing. And that is truly the most impactful and most purposeful thing. A lot of times are questing and asking, like, what is my purpose? I'm not fulfilled until I find my purpose. Well, ultimately, from the soul perspective, the highest purpose is that, actually. It's learning, growing, or healing. And the soul really does guide this, meaning, again, we have free will, which is where the personality comes in. So the personality has to learn how to work with the soul has to learn how to work with the personality. And that's why the more soul infused we become, the more we start to understand, when am I operating from my ego versus when am I operating from my soul's guidance. It becomes much more synergistic, much more easy, actually, just because we start to know really what we're being guided to do from our divine blueprint. Every single one of us comes in with this unique blueprint and how we're going to contribute, how we're going to serve. That's also integrated into our blueprint. First and foremost, though, the soul wants to grow and heal. And that may take lifetimes from this perspective. It might take lifetimes. So sometimes it's serving, not in a way, a lot of people think if I'm serving, I have to be out in the world serving. I have to be doing something with, something specific in a specific way. Not always, actually. Again, we might be really good at cooking. We might be really good at gardening. We might be really good at composing songs, but want nothing to do with being out in the forefront, in front of an audience. We might be really good at working on cars. We might be really good at building things, working with our hands. We might be really good at engineering something. We might be really good at business, or maybe really good with, having this legal analytical mind, or working with computers, or working with social media, or, it could be a multitude of things. From a spiritual perspective, designed, we are an essence of the ultimate creator or ultimate spirit essence. However, whatever that means for you and however that resonates with you, if it does. So what this means is that we contain, the Buddhist example is we are a cup. We're taken out of the ocean, a cup out of the ocean. So we are our own individual unique cup, and we contain the essence of the ocean within us. So we're still a part of that essence. We come from that essence, and we're having the experience of our own unique individual expression and experience. And that means that we are here to have our own experience, and also we come in with different expressions, gifts, and talents from that. So again, the most important thing is that the soul just really wants to have that experience first and foremost. So when we start to understand that our essence comes from that, and we explore curiously and openly what are my own unique gifts and talents and abilities, then we start to really relax into kind of what we set our intention for our incarnation to be. And then whatever is meant to really unfold will unfold in its own time and place anyways. And again, if, with the free will, we do have like a script in mind. And so soul, if we're going way off script, soul will actually still allow it if there's still learning, growing, or healing. And then we come back on our script. And to the soul expression, essence, there's no, again, right or wrong or good or bad. It also doesn't have to learn something in a specific lifetime. It can take several lifetimes to learn. The gift of awareness and the gift of consciousness is that we want to learn it more in a lifetime, right? We want to like get the experience, get the essence, get the lesson, get the soul quality that we're seeking to birth or to master, ideally we want to get that in the most simplest, easiest, loving, gentle, most gentle way. So that's when we are operating from a place of awareness around it. Again, it becomes much more easier, much more gentle. So let's go back to why the world needs exactly who we are, because we're not a mistake ever. There's so much thought, so much love put into our incarnation and who we are, as this being, and how we're expressing ourselves in this incarnation. So in a sense, when we're kind of rejecting ourselves, when we're saying we aren't good enough, or we're not contributing enough, or we don't have enough, or like whatever, is going on within us, in a sense, we're rejecting that sense of spirit within us. So the invitation for us is to, again, keep coming back to the fact that we've been created and cultivated through so much love, through so much thought, and so much care. And again, if that doesn't resonate with you, just kind of like, kind of put it to the side. Invitation, though, is explore what your own personal essence is. What are the things that you love to do? What are the things that you love to learn about? What are the things that you love to share? What are you learning about yourself? But what do you really love to do? How do you love to navigate through your day? Or how do you know what lights you up? What inspires you? That's what the world needs. The world needs exactly you, the way that you're expressing yourself, the exact way that you are navigating through, whether you're amazing, again, at fixing things, at contributing ideas, or holding a presence because you're so able to just hold a presence of kindness or of love. Sometimes the soul comes in and its main intention for the whole incarnation, its highest purpose, is actually to heal. So when we study astrology and numerology, for example, really get into the blueprint and what the soul's intentional destiny and life path is. Again, there's free will in this. So there's certain things it wants to master, certain things it wants to potentially clean up and kind of balance out. Again, I'm not saying that's in a negative way. I'm saying that's in an intentional way, that everything really is intentional and there's purpose, including in who we are in this lifetime, in this incarnation. And that includes all aspects of ourselves. So when we approach it from that way, we start to really be able to, or invited in an easier way, to really love and accept ourselves in a different way. And this really starts to help us activate a higher sense of self-esteem. And when we start to understand that we are exactly who we're meant to be, and we can continue to grow and shine and open up more of our light from that, just relaxation and acceptance of who we are. We're always wanting to expand and grow. Soul's always wanting to expand and evolve. So it's not that we're accepting necessarily things that we want to kind of refine, or we want to maybe like align with. So say I'm always insecure. That doesn't mean I want to stay insecure. It means that I'm insecure because it's something that I'm potentially learning how to heal. So I'll give an example. The average person has 32 personalities. Some have more, some have less. So those personalities, those aspects of my personality, some aspects are insecure. Some aspects are very confident. Some are very loving. Some are very fearful. Maybe some are unkind. And maybe some are very courageous and curious. So when we have an element of ourselves that we find hard to deal with, we find hard to accept, we find we're not living to our highest expression or potential because of it, we can call forth that aspect of ourselves. We call it a subpersonality. We can call forth that subpersonality and ask why, why are you insecure? And then just let it go. But sometimes just even calling forth, all of a sudden you'll just feel emerging. It's integrating into our heart space. Sometimes we'll have a memory or we'll have an experience flash through us where we remember like, oh, that got set up because of that experience. Or I've been conditioned over and over again not to let my light shine. Or I've been, not to be so much or do so much. So sometimes we start to recognize and understand that got set up because of these certain things. And sometimes that's enough to dissipate it. Sometimes that aspect of us needs something. It might need some love. It might need some acknowledgement. It might need some validation. And it might sometimes just need to know that it served us at a certain time. And, we bless and love and thank it and just know that, like, let it know. It doesn't need to act that way and respond that way anymore because times are different now and we're good. We're good with where we're at, or we've come through something and we're not in that time anymore. And then we can call forth other aspects of ourselves, other subpersonalities. So say I'm replacing an insecure subpersonality, I've brought it into my heart, and then I might call forth a courageous part of me, or I might call forth a very confident or secure, a part of me that just feels really grounded and really safe navigating through the world, again, depending on what we're dealing with. But every element of us is set up because it's part of our journey and part of our experience and part of our transformation. So there's nothing, everything from this perspective is a part of our spiritual process, part of our transformational journey. So when we really can accept all aspects of ourselves, that's when we really start to get integrated. And what that means is that all those aspects, so when we're talking subpersonalities, say that we're insecure or even fragmented from us, say we had a really major trauma, there could be an element of us that has been left behind and we need to call it back. So we can even do that. We can just simply say like that part of me that is, lost or stuck or frozen or fragmented because of this time or because of this situation or this age, I call you back and I bring you into my heart. And that integration, whether it's an aspect of us, a subpersonality part of us, a lost energy, that helps us to become more whole. And that's really our highest path, because those parts of us that are keeping us in non-acceptance are actually the part that they're wounded and they're in separation consciousness and seeking to be brought back into our heart, seeking to be brought back into the love or light element of us. So that's the process. So when we start to not only focus more on, what am I really amazing at or good at, or what comes easily for me, or what do I love to learn, or what do I love to do, or, that could be you're really amazing at relaxing. You could be, and then, your energy is helping other people relax. Or it could be you love to learn about birds, or you love to learn about, different species in the ocean. Doesn't mean you have to do anything with it. It means that, what we are called to do, we are called specifically because it's opening us up to something. And, we share energy in everything that we do. So again, there's no mistake. None of us have been created in a way that we aren't, really here to have freedom to express. And that's the most important thing. We are free. Well, we may not feel free right now, but that's what we're reclaiming. We're reclaiming our freedom. So that's part of when we're tuning into the world needs, who I'm made to be. That's a big part of it. A big part of it is, where have I been shut down? Where have I been encrusted? What parts of me don't feel safe or feel they've never been allowed to express something, be something? And the question would be, well, why? Like, why did I maybe allow that? So maybe I wasn't at an age I could have done it different, or maybe I didn't know differently, or maybe I didn't have the courage then to stand up for myself or to say no or have a boundary. So that's, again, consciousness. So again, from soul, no matter what we have experienced or how we've responded in the past, it's because that also is part of our journey, or it wouldn't have showed up. And so that means that when we can look back at, and it can be complicated because of free will. So yes, we can generate some things off script at times. The thing is that when we look back, though, even that, we were at a consciousness that we were at for a reason at a time. And what's important is, who am I now? And how do I want to respond now? And what do I want to start to activate and express? And how do I want to just start to navigate myself through the world? Because I belong here. I belong here, and I am absolutely in my sovereignty to express myself and to express, the light that I am, or the light that I have, or offer or serve in the way that I feel called to do. So the most powerful thing we truly can do is come from a place, first and foremost, of acceptance. Again, we've talked before of microcosm, macrocosm effect. So when we really truly come within ourselves and start to really accept ourselves, the more we accept ourselves, the more we can truly accept others. So the more we transform, the more we heal within ourselves, we're also facilitating that transformation or that healing for the collective and for our generational lineage as well. This is so multidimensional. And like, for example, when we heal something, we heal and we can shift depending on the level of the alchemy, the level of the transformation. We can heal 7 generations past and 7 to 9 generations forward. That's just the generation. That's just the lineage. That's not including the depth of what we're offering in the collective. And that's potentially even expanding more now with these higher frequencies and energies coming in. So super, super powerful and exciting times. And that's the power of us tuning into claiming and owning and embracing unapologetically who we are. Yes, we still want to learn, we still want to grow, we still want to expand, we may still want to refine, we want to take from our past what we've learned from it, what have we gained from it, and then from that, what do we want to do with that? What do we want to do with what we've learned up to this point, and what do we want to do with the ingredients of all the qualities that we have or that we want to start to bring forth, and what do we want to create with that? So it's kind of like we have all these ingredients within ourselves. What kind of recipe do we want to create with it? And we get to decide that. We have the power to choose that. We have the power to create whatever it is that we really want to, with steadiness, with intention, and with that groundedness, and with that embracing first and foremost of ourselves, accepting ourselves. And when we accept ourselves, this helps us to facilitate coming really into the new consciousness, because when we step into our own personal experience, we're not judging ourselves anymore, right? We take out the judgment. There's no right or wrong or good or bad, pass or fail. Do I want to do something differently this time? Yes, maybe. Do I want to grow and expand? Absolutely. There's no judgment, though. There's no punitiveness. There's no self-punishment or desire to atone for something. We can still, again, we still may need to balance something with somebody or express something to somebody, but there's a very different consciousness between coming from a place of love and coming from a place of self-acceptance and self-esteem than there is coming from a place of fear and codependency. So when we can do that equally for others, and we can really hold a really powerful beacon of steadiness and of love, unconditional love for everyone. So takeaway from today is to really maybe ask, what do I love to do? Why am I here? And maybe it actually could even just be starting to affirm the world needs who I am made to be. I'm not a mistake, and there's nothing I need to do or be differently than I am. So what are my gifts and talents? What am I good at? What do I love to do? What do I love to learn about? What are my fun little quirks? Maybe I'm funny, maybe I'm lovingly shy, and can I embrace that? So what does that do? If you're shy, oftentimes shyness can bring a real sensitivity. There's often a very sense of sensitivity in a beautiful way where you might tune into people a little bit more. So every single characteristic, gift or talent or ability or nuance or essence that we have, there's some beautiful elements, and we need that. We need all elements of that. So tip is, if you want to do this, sit down and write out 50 to 100 things that you love to do or that are really good within yourself. And those could be, some are personality traits and some could be qualities. So quality would be love. I'm really peaceful. I'm really loving. I'm really creative. And then more of a personality aspect could be, I'm really efficient at shopping. I'm really efficient with money. Or I'm really organized, things like that. So even organization can actually be a soul quality. One final thing just to keep in mind in regarding checking in whether it's kind of the ego taking over. And again, that's not a negative thing. It's just we want to be aware, because we want to become more soul infused, which means that the ego is now learning how to serve the heart and serve the soul. So learning how to discern between, is this ego or is this actually, kind of my soul essence coming through? Ego knows two switches. It knows inferiority or superiority. And that's because it operates from a place of judgment and operates from a place of polarity. So ego will either be in superiority, meaning it believes it's better than somebody else or something else. So it will set up that, well, I'm going to be good at this and successful at this, but that means somebody else has to be less than me. So coming from the soul essence, we are thriving, we are shining in our success and our abilities and our talents, but not coming from a place of competitiveness, or not coming from a place where I can only be or do that if somebody else is less than me, or I feel that because I have this, or because I'm doing this, or because I live like this, that I'm better than somebody else. That just sets up way more inequality and injustice and separation consciousness. So that's one, and the other one is inferior. So I'm inferior, I'm less than because I'm not doing this, or I'm less than because I don't have this, or I'm less than because I'm not this or doing this. So, and often you'll see the more one's operating from the ego, the more it'll definitely teeter-totter. There's always a going back and forth between superiority and inferiority. And the more one operates from ego, the more intense or striking that will be. So it could be like when somebody really feels they're really superior of others, there can be just a real brittle kind of sense to the ego, and there can be a deeper sense of insecurity actually underneath that. So what we want to do is we kind of, again, want to just be aware, not judging ourselves or others if we notice that that's happening. It's just an invitation to be aware. I'm operating from this, so that's telling me I'm out of alignment here about something. I'm out of alignment, or I'm carrying something. I'm not truly connected to my own internal essence. Remember that cup of, I'm not tuned into my true essence of who I actually am, because there is no better or worse. We're all here having our own unique, different experience. And yes, they can be wildly different. And, they're all here with purpose, though. So coming back to what is mine, what is mine and what isn't mine. All right. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you truly remember that the world needs you exactly as who you are and how you were made. Namaste.